What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are breaking down the week 9 schedule, and what this means is we're going to be looking at the teams with the best and worst schedules and also the streamers to help you maximize your games. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. Now I want to talk about the teams with the most off nights this week. The players on these teams are great to stream for the entire week, and if you have a bunch of players on these teams already, it's definitely a good thing. So to list these off, it is ranked by opponent goals against average. The first team is the Vegas Golden Knights. They have a 3.16 goals against average, so very solid schedule. Then we have the Minnesota Wild, the St. Louis Blues, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Blues and the Blue Jackets don't have the best opponent goals against average, but still 4 games and 3 off nights is very solid. Then we have 3 teams that play 3 times, but all of them are off nights, so very, very solid for maximizing your games as well. Ranked by opponent goals against average, we have the Edmonton Oilers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Florida Panthers. These 7 teams have the best schedules for maximizing your games, but we also have a handful of teams that have 4 games and 2 off nights as well, which is very solid. To list these off, they are ranked by opponent goals against average. We have the Seattle Kraken, the Nashville Predators, the Chicago Blackhawks, the New Jersey Devils, the Montreal Canadiens, the Los Angeles Kings, the Washington Capitals, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Dallas Stars. Next up, we have the teams with the least amount of games. We have 2 teams this week that only play twice. That is not good for maximizing your games, so you might want to hold off on adding players from these teams and streaming them. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. They have decent opponent goals against average, but it's just not going to cut it with 2 games. So if you have a lot of players on these teams, you're just going to have to suck it up, and hopefully they can actually put up some points this week. Next up, we have the teams with the easiest opponent record. The players on these teams may put up a lot of points. Their goalies might perform well as well. We have the Detroit Red Wings, the New York Islanders, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Seattle Kraken, and the Nashville Predators. Then we have the teams with the toughest opponent record this week. It might be tough for the players on these teams to put up points how they normally do, and it might be tough for their goalies as well. We have the Ottawa Senators, the Arizona Coyotes, the Dallas Stars, the San Jose Sharks, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Moving on, we have the teams with the highest opponent goals against average. These teams are playing teams that let in a lot of goals, so their players could do pretty good. We have the Detroit Red Wings, the Seattle Kraken, the Nashville Predators, the Calgary Flames, and the Vancouver Canucks. Next, we have the teams with the lowest opponent goals against average, so these teams are playing teams that normally don't let in a lot of goals. It's not going to be good for the players on these teams this week in fantasy. We have the San Jose Sharks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Arizona Coyotes, the Dallas Stars, and the Philadelphia Flyers. Next, I just want to plug my Twitter/X. It is at FIREDUP Fantasy, so make sure you follow me on there. I post a lot on there, a lot of good content, a lot of up-to-date information, so follow me on there or check it out. All right, lastly, I just want to give you some streamers to add for the entire week. Like I said earlier, we have a bunch of teams that have 4 games and 3 off nights, so if you want to add these players for the entire week, it could pay off. We have some diamonds in the rough here. I would say Brian Rust is a diamond in the rough because his roster percentage is too low in my opinion. He's on that first-line power play, a power play that I do expect to bounce back. Players like Buchnevich and Robert Thomas, I think their roster percentage is too low. I think Jordan Kyrou is going to have a pretty big week, even though he's on the second-line power play. He's bound to start scoring more goals soon. And Sam Bennett, a massive diamond in the rough, only 18 or 19% rostered on Yahoo, on the first-line power play, in the top 6, on a line with Mac and Chuck. He could have a big week. We also got some more diamonds in the rough like Zach Werenski. He's been playing really well lately, and I think his roster percentage is far too low. Kirill Marchenko, who is on the first-line power play, getting a decent amount of ice time. He has the potential to score some goals, guys, so look out for Marchenko. I think his roster percentage is going to go up way soon. We also have Jake Neighbors, who is currently on the first-line power play and getting way better deployment as of late. I'm not a huge fan of him long-term because his shooting percentage is way too inflated. It's something like 26%, but it's worth a shot with 4 games and 3 off nights this week. And then a guy like Jared Spurgeon, who's on the first-line power play, I think he's a diamond in the rough too. If you're in a deeper league and you were struggling to find players on the waiver wire, he could be a good option. Obviously, those are some diamonds in the rough, but we do have some great options on here if they are available on your waiver wire. Evander Kane, Joel Eriksson-Ek, Matt Zuccarello, Jonathan Marchessault, Boone Jenner. Boone Jenner has been playing absolutely incredible. I doubt he's available, but if you're in a more shallow league, take a look at Boone Jenner. Brandon Montour, this guy is bound to put up some points. He's still in the first-line power play. I think this Panthers power play is going to start producing very soon. Matt Boldy, whose deployment is all over the place. I know it's frustrating, but he's too talented to be struggling this much, so I'm expecting a big night very soon. It could be this week. We also have Johnny Gaudreau, who I think is a great option this week. He's still getting a lot of ice time, first line power play. Patrick Laine, I'm a little bit concerned with his ice time totals, but he has been producing. Hopefully he can get those totals up. Torrey Krug playing great lately on the first line power play. Justin Falk playing decent too, put some great peripherals. Braden Shen bumped down to the second unit, but he could be good in a deeper league. And then we have some more players. I'll just list these off rapid fire. Marco Rossi, Chris Letang, Aaron Ekblad, Evan Rodriguez, Riley Smith, Adam Fantilli, Kent Johnson, who is practicing on the top line. Wouldn't trust it though, he's not getting the most ice time. Ivan Barbashev, Anton Lundell, Brandon Saad, and Kevin Hayes. Now, I didn't want to make this list too long, but there's definitely some deeper league options that could have been on this list. Maybe a guy like Ivan Provorov on the Columbus Blue Jackets. It also depends on your league format. If you're in a category league, then certain players are going to be more valuable than others. There's players that put up great blocks and hits that wouldn't make it onto a list like this. So make sure you just check out the players on the Vegas Golden Knights, the Minnesota Wild, the St. Louis Blues, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Edmonton Oilers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Florida Panthers. Those players, like I told you guys before, 4 games and 3 off nights, so it's going to be worth taking a look at them for the entire week. Lastly, I just wanted to give you guys some underrated players that play 4 games and have 2 off nights this week. They could be good streaming options for the entire week if you can fit them into your lineup. 2 off nights is not bad, so take a look at these players for sure. We have Tom Wilson, who has been playing great lately on the first line power play with TJ Oshie out. Oliver Bjorkstrand, who is getting a decent amount of ice time lately, taking a lot of shots. Definitely promising signs with Bjorkstrand's play. We got Nick Suzuki, first line power play. Seth Jarvis, still getting great deployment. Quinton Byfield, first line power play. Gustav Nyquist, first line power play. Trevor Moore, who I do expect to cool down, but he's playing so great lately. You definitely want to take a look at him. Wyatt Johnston, not on the first line power play, but still a very talented young player who has the potential to have some big nights. Philip Kurashev, I think he's on the first line or the second line, but he is on the first line power play, and he's playing really good lately. I know he's on the Blackhawks, guys, but still, definitely a good deep league option and a good deep league stream. Then we have Simon Nemec of the New Jersey Devils. He has now been called up with Dougie Hamilton's injury, so he could be a good option. He played 22 minutes in his first game. He put up 2 assists. This Devils offense is absolutely electric, so Nemec could have some big nights. And then lastly, we have Colton Sissons, who's on the first line power play with all those Predators injuries. And then we have Seth Jones, who is on the first line power play now. He got bumped down to the second unit, but he's back on the first unit, so hopefully he can start producing. I think he's due for a bounce back. All right, guys, that's the end of the video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.